Looking at this lamp and the witness's neck, it looks like the very opposite happened. Exactly. The victim in the clinic that night was this witness. Specifically, you tried to threaten Dr. Miraculous and he attacked you. That's what happened that night at the Miraculous clinic. There. More. Wow, the poor. Her dress is like flapping. I got bored. Order, order, order! The fox and the bird. Isn't there a story in that thing? Or without that? Will somebody please tell me what really happened? I told you the truth already. I went to the clinic that night to warn Dr. Maractus. Whoa, wow. That Gaston knows everything. He's coming for you. Looks like my clinic's seen his last patient. Oh, his first words. You have to get rid of that charge. Quick, open your safe. Give it to me. So you can save your own skin. What? I know what you're up to. You want in with the family. And if they see that chart, you're finished. Leaving me holding the short straw. But if I'm going down, I'll want some company. You! And what happened next? He jumped at me and knocked me to the floor. Assaulting! He took that cord. Creepy, creepy, creepy. Dr. Maractus is evil too. Pal Maractus is serious. Deadly serious. He really tried to strangle me. I just hide the part of the screen so I don't see that creepy face of his. I think it's a good thing he died. I don't know. I shouldn't be saying this. I must have blacked out. So, you were the victim. And the red flash on the cord was your lipstick. I didn't want to remember that night. That's why I didn't bring it up. There, are you happy now? I was out cold, almost killed. And you'd claim I then snuck into that noodle stand? But how could I? Well, this is not good. Is that it? Well, one thing is clear. We now know that what really happened at the Maractus clinic, and it would seem that our victim was not entirely without blame himself. I'm sorry. I get so nervous just thinking of it. It's hard to breathe. I've told you everything. Can I go home now? You bear some responsibility for events that day, true. Yet, if you were also a victim, this court would owe you some sympathy. Well, Mr. Justice, I believe this clears up the remaining questions for Miss Yellow. When did this happen? Did our plan just backfired? Suddenly, everyone's sympathizing with her. I don't know what to think anymore, Apollo. I mean, is that it? I don't think so. Do we know everything we need to know about Miss Yellow? We need to know her height and her weight and how old. We know how old she is. Anyway. This finishes the cross-examinations of this.
Objection!
Gavin? Not so fast. This party's just getting started. Now we rock! But there's a courtroom. What? Those spikes on your head are softer than they look. Or do you not have the stomach to go all the way? Wait, is he on our side? Or what? Prosecutor Gavin. Pal Maractus choked Aaliyah Tiala. She fell unconscious. But what happened next? He's right! There's more! We don't know! But she was choked hard enough to leave that mark! She would have been out for a while. Even still, what if it was her in that noodle stand? Aaliyah Tiala half dead, Dr. Maractus pulling that stand, and a bullet fired from inside the noodle stand. What if it's all true? We might have already figured out what truly happened that night. Miss Aaliyah Tiala, as you can see, we're not through with you just yet. You really want to blame me for this murder, don't you? You too, Prosecutor Gavin. Me? Fraulein, I only wish you know the truth. Well, he was against us, for most of the case, and now he's trying to blame this on Alita. Well, let's go back over what we've learned up until now. On the day of the murder, Walkie saw his check-in report, from which he learns about the bullet still inside him. So, he took a pistol from the family stash with the intention to give Dr. Mathis some of his own medicine. Doctor taking medicine. Ironic, isn't it? And Miss Tiala heard about this from Walkie, so she went to the Mathis clinic ahead of him in order to get rid of the chart with her signature. But then, something happened. Hide her face. Or hide the creepiness of Dr. Mathis. Sounds like you figured it all out. But remember, I was the victim. I was out cold. But what about Dr. Mathis? That does seem to be the problem. He had just strangled Alita Tiala. Perhaps he thought to death. What did he do after his crime? A doctor killing. I was just knocked out, not dead! From the state of his clinic and the scene in the park. I think it's clear what the good doctor did next. Well, Air4, care to guess? Well, Dr. Mathis, Mr. Justice, what did Dr. Mathis do? Maybe he did think he killed Alita Tiala. Do I have evidence to show us what he did next? Well, he, stole the noodle stand? Or the bowls? Take out the bowls. As his next move, Dr. Mathis stole Guile-Dune's noodle stand. What? Killing me disturbed him that much? So much he randomly stole a noodle stand? It wasn't so random. Remember all the bowls in the clinic's foyer? Bowls that belonged inside that stand? I think it's pretty obvious, don't you? That stand wasn't at the clinic. However, the question is, why did he remove the bowls? Maybe because the stand was heavy? Or we want to put something in the stand in their place? Oh, wait, you don't mean... I do. Dr. Mathis did replace those bowls with something. I like this next part. Your corpse, Miss Tiala! My corpse? Dr. Mathis panicked. He thought he killed you. His next move would be to dispose of the body. That's crazy talk! You're all crazy! Yeah, and we're crazy to think that you are the victim. Objection! Then let's think about it. Logically, the doctor had a place to dispose of you in mind. But on his way there, who should he run into but the defendant Walkie-Talkie? Objection! I question your logic. What's this, Prostitute Gavin? The park is a dead end. Why would he head in that direction to begin with? That's right, he had no reason to go there. Oh, now I get it. It was a trick. This bullet Brad made him do it. He made the doctor steal the stand. Objection! That's kind of stupid. Tell me, why would someone go to a dead end? Unless the park was his destination. What? Gavel! Apparently, the defense has an idea. Tell us where Dr. Mathis was heading with the stand. Here, please show us on this diagram. To where exactly was the victim dragging that stand? Well, if he's heading to the left, so where to the left is the river. There? That's a river. Yes, Your Honor. I scarcely need to explain why. A perfect place to dispose of a body. And he was going to throw me into that river? That's kind of silly. No, it's kind of funny when you think about what he was going to do to her. He didn't have many other options, Fraulein. I believe this clears up all the remaining questions. The victim pulled in the stand, and the defendant pulled before him. And inside the stand, you, Miss Alita Tiala. Erk! And then the denouement. Wesley Stickler, of panty snatching fame, walks up. Seeing the two men, he shouts in that instant. Ah, so epic. So, I shot him? You were the only one who could have stolen Walkie's pistol. It had to be you. Well, Monsieur. Nice work. You mean I'm right? I mean, you've done a fine job dreaming up a story. to get that spoiled brat off the hook. You're the who's dreaming! Apollo's backed up everything he said with facts! If you're so sure he's making it up, give us another reason! Why was Dr. Mac just pulling that stand through the park? Who knows? But there's one gaping hole in your logic. I think that Mr. Gavin knows whereof I speak. Where of what? I can't believe she's still trying to deny this. Is this true, Prosy Gavin? Must I always be the one to point out error for his errors? Maybe there really is something. He's still a rookie, by the way. I believe the Fräulein speaks of Herr Doctor's car. His car? That's right, the Miraculous Clinic has that big garage, in which sat a green sports car, was it? Why would he steal sand in the first place? If he wanted to carry a body, he would have used his car. And so we find our victim without probable cause to steal that stand. And our defense without a case. I have an idea! You know, that green car? I bet it wouldn't run. It was broken! Ah, what an excellent counter-argument, Fräulein. Too bad you're quite wrong. Don't tell me you've forgotten what happened to your daddy. Daddy? That's right! That night, the car that hit Mr. Wright. It was that green sports car. Oh yes, I nearly forgot about it. Afterward, he drove it back to the garage. It ran fine. That's right. So why did he use his beloved sports car, A glaring contradiction, to be sure. More glaring than your forehead! No! No! This is not right! But Alita is the killer, right? Are we all wrong all this time? Order! Well, Mr. Justice, why didn't Dr. Magnus use his car to carry the body? Is that a grown-up surrender I hear? Some advice? Now's a good time to review all you know. Everything you've learned over the last 2 days. Yeah, very broad advice, Gavin. Thanks a lot. Everything I've learned? Mr. Justice, this country casts doubt on your entire case. This is truly your last chance. Defense will explain to us what happened that night. So now still stand. That makes no sense. The car didn't run. He carried the body in the car, which that didn't happen. So the car didn't run. Let's just follow Chuse's advice. Even though it doesn't seem like it's great. I have an idea. It's all coming together. That night, Dr. Magnus couldn't use his car. Ha! Now you're making even less sense than usual. Not according to my information, Miss Tiala. Put 1 and 1 together and the explanation is simple. Put 1 and 1 together, you get 2. If it's so simple, perhaps you could show us some evidence. Show us proof why the car wouldn't run that night. Okay. I love this part. Next evidence they're gonna present. Yep. Panties again. Let's see now. Panties again? All sorts of things come out of my panties. What? Even the truth. She's like, what's going on? Panties, what the heck's going on? And then the crime was committed the nights of the murder. Yeah, there was like 4 in all. The theft of these panties, the latest in a string of similar thefts, actually. But that night, the snatcher was caught in the act. Yep, all 3 of the little mini crimes are now all connected to this one big murder trial. A brave young girl chased the thief until he hid in the Miraculous Clinic garage. What? The snatcher hid the panties there before he running. Perhaps someone in this court remembers where he hid them? Why? Why, they found the car's exhaust pipe? Exactly. By the way, I learned something yesterday. A very important piece of information. And I learned it from you, Prosecutor Gavin! So you were here investigating? And I was on my way home, when my hog gave up the ghost. Your hog? My motorcycle won't start a clogged exhaust pipe. Too bad, it looks like such a nice bike too. Hard to believe that it could break just from that. Cars, motorbikes, they're all the same. Clog the exhaust and they won't run. Is that true? I don't even know. My, how interesting. She learned something today! And I bet you did too!